clock.
If you're having a hard time deciding on the perfect way to show your love to your favorite station, just listen to your heart. Whether it's calling for you to give a one-time cash gift or to donate that extra vehicle you no longer need, either way, it's easy and will help Border Radio bring you more hours of your favorite programs. Learn more about the ways to give at borderradioaz.org.
What's up, Yuma? I'm Johnny Porter.
And I'm Victor Calderon.
On today's program, we will be joined first by Priscila Ruedas. She's a public health professional, Yuma native, and now a candidate for Yuma City Council. We're going to be discussing public health, healthcare access, community engagement, and her vision for the city of Yuma if she gets elected. After that, Justin and Jeanette, they're back. They are the founders of BLINDLUCK. They're going to be discussing EDM culture, underground rave experience, event production, entrepreneurship, and their vision to build an immersive music experience while growing the electronic music community right here in Yuma, Arizona. So stay with us for What's Up Yuma Radio, beginning right now on KOFA 94.7 FM.
And streaming online at borderradioaz.org and on the KOFA app. You can also view our show on the Border Radio Facebook page and the KAWC YouTube page. And don't forget, you can reach out to us by email at whatsupyumaradio@gmail.com.
What's Up Yuma is sponsored by Citrine Law, LLC, a Yuma law firm practicing criminal defense, DUI defense, and personal injury law. Information is at citrinelaw.com.
Chili from Philly. Nick Papa Giorgio from Yuma.
What's up, Yuma? Welcome back to another episode of What's Up Yuma Radio. I'm Johnny Porter.
And I'm Victor Calderon. And Johnny, you know what today is, right?
I don't.
It's a big sports day.
Is it?
Well, of course, the World Cup is going on.
Yeah,
talking
talking about that, but I don't know.
NBA draft.
Oh, the draft. Yeah, okay, yeah.
That's more up your alley.
And the trades that happened yesterday, Giannis
Antetokounmpo.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's official, but he's supposedly going to Miami. So
going to Miami, yeah. So let's see what Miami's going to be able to cook up this next season.
Yes,
that was a big one. I'm still seeing. Well, you know, I really just worry about my team and see what the Suns are going to do.
Suns.
Yeah, they're thinking about putting Grayson Allen on, you know, maybe for trade. And
yes,
we'll see. But maybe they just run it back with the same team. I don't know. They did pretty good.
Yes.
But they're going to look what they're going to do with Mark Williams as well, because he was kind of hurt at the end of the season. Mm-hmm. I think he did great throughout the last season, but just got hurt when it counted. So
yeah, I think the biggest change for the Suns is Devin Booker's changing his number.
Yeah, 15
from 1 to 15,
and it was supposed to, I guess, for his father or something
like that. So maybe that means the number 1 jerseys will go on sale for half off
there
or
you
more.
Go. Are you going to get some?
Probably.
Yeah, you would. You let me know if they go on sale.
All right. I'll send you the link.
I'll get some. But so are you going to be watching the draft? Do you care about that much?
I haven't. I have some friends over later, but yeah, I'll probably have it on in the background.
Right on. Cool. And tomorrow you're going to watch the Mexico game?
Mexico game at 6. It's their third game, but they've already qualified for the playoffs round. So they'll probably be resting their starters. You get that,
Oh, that's
right?
what happens? Yeah,
they rest their starters, no injuries, that kind of thing.
And they're playing something with the C, or like, what is it?
Czechia?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Is the country name?
Yeah, but anyhow, that's going on. And who do we have as a guest today?
So today our first guest is Priscila Ruedas. She is a public health professional, and she's a candidate for Yuma City Council, a write-in candidate. So thank you for being here this morning.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. And we got notice that we have to be nice to you. It's one of the requirements of doing this. Who said that?
Travis Mitchell. But we're always nice to people.
Yeah,
we're always nice to people, whether we agree with them or not.
Travis knows that. and Travis knows that. He's just teasing. But anyhow, so before we get into why you decided to torture yourself by running for office, we're going to find out who Priscila really is and a little bit more about you. So are you from Yuma originally?
I'm originally from Mexicali, but when my family and I came to the United States, I came at 8 years old, and I've been here ever since.
Oh, so from Mexicali to Yuma. Mm-hmm. Made that. So what was it like growing up in Mexicali?
It was fun. I was pretty young by the time I came. I was 8, but it was It was fun. I liked having all my family around, and coming to the U.S. was really different because we were by ourselves, and we had a mixed status household at that point. And so we just didn't get a lot. We didn't get a lot to do in the first couple of years when we were in the United States.
So you said in Mexicali, you liked growing up there because you had family. So you're talking about like cousins, aunts,
So many
uncles, your
cousins.
nana, and all that.
Oh my gosh, I have over 51 first cousins.
Jeez.
I
Big
know.
Mexican family.
That is a big family.
Yes,
That's how they
like-
get down in Mexicali,
They
huh?
do. We had, just both of my grandparents on both sides each had about close to 10 kids, and then they all had about 3 kids. And we had a huge family. Saturdays at my maternal grandmother's, Sundays at my paternal grandmother's, and we would all just get together. It was wonderful.
Oh, that is wonderful. That is the best. That's
Yeah.
it. I miss going to my nana's house and doing all that with the family. And it seems like, well, for me, since my nana passed away, it doesn't happen anymore. But those were
Yeah.
actually some of my best memories growing up as a kid, is doing that. So then, what brought your family to Yuma?
Just better economic opportunity. My dad was working in the U.S. and he would commute back and forth for years, and eventually it just came down to the time that that he decided that he needed to move his family to the U.S.
What does your dad do?
It was in construction.
Oh,
he
he-
was a farm worker for a really long time, and then he did construction, like the typical switch that happens.
So farm workers. So he worked out in the fields. What crop? Do you know? Is it
He
like
did
lettuce?
most of them. Yeah, he did lettuce, he did celery, he did watermelon. My grandpa, the reason that we are able to be in the United States was because of the Bracero program, and my grandpa on his side, Gregorio Ruedas, he was the one that was able to ultimately be able to emigrate his son, and thus we were able to emigrate into the United States as well.
Gotcha. So he, growing up with a father that's working out on the farms, what was that like? Did you see? Because I've had quite a few people on this show that immigrant parents, worked on a farm, and they always seem to talk about like the discipline and dedication that their parents had in order to give them a better life. Does that resonate with you?
Yeah, I think we here in Yuma, we all have a very similar background. And yes, my dad was a very hardworking man. To this day, he is a very hardworking man who, because of his labor, has actually had a lot of medical conditions that happen. Like this man has had 5 total knee replacements. He only has 2 knees, but he has had 5 total knee
Jeez.
replacements. Just a lot of impact on the work and just impact on the family of just really instilling in us hardworking, that we had to kind of do what you can, pull yourself by your bootstrap. But also my dad is one of the most caring, empathetic, intelligent people that I know. He didn't have the opportunity of going into school. I think he only went through early high school. I think he dropped out by his freshman year. Because he had to go to work. But
Right? So that was the thing. It wasn't like he dropped out I don't want to do this. Typically, it's dropped out because somebody needs to provide for their family and go out to the field and make that money, right?
Yep, exactly.
Yeah. So then you said hardworking family. He went from working the farms to construction. So when he got to Yuma, was it construction
It was
that he was doing?
construction.
Okay.
Yeah, it was
What kind of construction?
He does drywall. He does internal drywall.
Yeah, drywall. So, okay. So you get to Yuma. You said it was a change. No family around. How'd you, assimilate? What school did you go to?
I started at Gwyneth Ham. I remember I came home the first day and I cried to my mom because this was not like 90210. I did not have my own lockers. And so it was it was very difficult because growing up in Mexico, obviously we had just translated American TV, and I was assuming that I was going to come and be at 90210 in that
gotcha.
school.
Okay, cool.
And-
Yeah, not in Yuma.
Nope.
Definitely not at Yuma,
Yeah.
but yeah. So that was your understanding of it. You're watching TV. You get there, and then you come home and you cry to mom, and you say, "What? I want to go back."
I just cried and I told her I didn't understand anybody.
Yeah. So then, did you get into I think it was called ESL back then?
Yeah, something like that. I was actually very lucky that I was able to, within the end of the month, my first month, I was student of the month because I had picked up the language, which I find
That quick?
wild. I find so wild. But at the end of the month, we were driving. I went to Gwyneth Ham. We lived in that area. We still live in the Okie Town area.
Okie Town. Yeah, that's what's up.
Still.
OT.
And we were driving
That's
to
my hood
Kennedy
right there.
Park. Really? Okay,
Yeah, I
we're
still live
neighbors.
there. Yeah.
Same. Okay, we're neighbors.
I like it.
And we were driving to Kennedy Park to go play soccer after Dad's work, and there was a sign, and it had my name for Student of the Month, and I just remember, like, my mom crying, and I'm like, whoa, I didn't know. Because, again, yes, I spoke English, barely, right?
Yeah.
But just enough to get by, and it was just a really nice experience.
So you're an overachiever now. You get in, you don't know the language well, but you pick it up, you get Student of the Month, and then you start to kind of settle in and like, okay, maybe I could do this. Now, is academics something that you started to enjoy?
I've always been a huge school person. Like, I love learning. Yes, I've always been a huge academic. I remember actually just obviously coming from Mexico. In Mexico, there's a significantly higher standard of education.
There is.
And mathematics in particular, I don't remember if it was called like the ACT or something. Same in the third grade when we did like the state testing, that I had scored really high that I ended up having to get pulled aside and go into a trailer in the back. And it was just me and then like a bunch of like just people in front of me that were watching me take the math test. Because apparently, and I didn't understand this at the time, but it must have been because I had scored so high. And then I remember the only question that I got wrong was one where it was like, where you go 1, 2, 3, like the little dashes, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that I just didn't know that the diagonal dash was a 5, and that was the only question that I had
That was the only one you got wrong. Yeah. So you're really good at school. You're doing that now. You're in public health now.
Yes.
Is that something that resonated with you as a child, or what was it? What did you want to do?
Absolutely not. I actually, as a child, I wanted to be a teacher. Later, I decided I just have a caring. I care about people. So I wanted to be a nurse. But then I did the AWC nursing program, and they make you do the CNA program. And a CNA is very different than a nurse, and I almost quit because the CNA is such hard work. My sister then introduced me to, she was like, hey, have you ever looked at public health and seeing what that is? She was at the U of A at the time. And I looked into public health, and I was like, whoa, this is really encompassing of everything that I want to do. So I transitioned, went to the U of A, got my bachelor's degree. But I actually did that like over a really long course. Like after I graduated high school, to me getting an associate's degree, it was a 10-year period. I was working in the industry. I did a lot of barista work, a lot of waitressing jobs, just getting to know my people, the community, and honestly just being like a teenager, early 20s person, just, living my life.
So tell me, what was it? You said you care for people. You were going to go into nursing, CNA, which that's what my mom was for a long time. It is a lot of work, like you said. And then that kind of turned you off about that. But what was it about public health that said, yes, I could do that, or I want to do that? It was
health, but not on an individual level. It was health on a community level. So being able to have an impact, not just directly on you, but on the entire community, which is why later I ended up going and doing like my master's in public health policy, because that allows me to take science and look at the latest evidence and talk about with legislators, talk about how do we implement, whether it's statewide or in an organization, just systems that will make everything better for everybody that is based on facts.
Mm-hmm. So then, in public health, you're saying it's because there's a broader scope, and people and be able to make decisions that affects the whole community. Now, that's a lot of responsibility too, though. So you really got to do your due diligence to be able to find out what what is the correct policy to put in place. So then you said you went to study policy after that. Tell me how that fit in and what'd you learn?
Well, yeah, again, in policy, it was more about really taking just science, taking like white papers, taking evidence, learning about what a p-value is, biostatistics, and really understanding how then we can work with, for example, like on a state legislative board, talking about how we can go in with our policymakers and do testaments, like talk about how laws really affect everyday human health. And so that is a little bit of what was taught.
So can you give me an example? Like I know, so is it for the county that you work?
I work for the U of A, so I work for the university.
University. So, give me an example of something that you would have sway over, or to be able to make a policy about.
So that depends on the job, but at the end of the day, currently I work doing like community-based participatory research. So ultimately, we are talking about working directly with the community to talk about what is working, because as a community,
Like
you already
what's
know.
working? No, like give me an example of you're saying what's working. Like this policy's working, or there's an outbreak of something we need to curb that. Like give me a little bit more granular.
Okay, so when I did work at the health department, for example, the one thing that we chose, or through the director that we chose to implement, was to work directly with the ag companies to prioritize farm workers so that they would be able to get their vaccines, their
Gotcha,
COVID vaccines.
okay.
And the reason that was a policy decision was because at that point we were doing tiered systems, but farm workers are essential laborers that work next to each other that don't necessarily have the capacities or ways to do any kind of isolation, both isolation and social distancing. So those are some of the policies that can take place so that we can prevent like the spread of the disease at that point for the COVID.
Gotcha. Okay, that's a perfect example. That was kind of what I was looking for, so I could understand how these actually affect us here in the community. So then, understanding policy, now you're running for office, right? And we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to find out how those two are connected and what you saw to make you jump into this race, all right?
All right.
We're going to do that right after this. You're listening to What's Up Yuma Radio right here on 94.7 KOFA Border Radio.
If you're tired of listening to long commercials before finally hearing music, look no further. We've got you covered. Whether you're searching on your radio, trying to find an app to play some tunes, or need background music playing on your computer while finishing up some work, KOFA Border Radio is your non-commercial place for music.
What's Up Yuma Radio is sponsored in part by Nova Home Loans, serving Yuma County and nearby communities. Nova Home Loans offers residential lending services, including home loans and refinancing. They are also proud supporters of local community efforts and organizations. More information is available at novahomeloansyuma.com.
You are tuned to 94.7 FM KOFA Border Radio. An extreme heat warning in effect in Yuma County. Afternoon highs should near 108 degrees. Light and variable winds becoming 5 to 10 miles per hour out of the south. Partly cloudy tonight with a low around 80 degrees. Yuma Union High School District Specialist was honored for her work in supporting students with disabilities. Read more on the award that Casey Baker received online at kawc.org.
Where else on the radio would you hear the set that just played? For the most part, the music you hear on Border Radio is pretty hard to find on commercial radio stations. You'll hear this music only on a public radio station like Border Radio, where you, our listener, truly appreciates it and owns it. Visit borderradioaz.org to donate today.
For over 55 years, Border Radio KOFA has been a voice for music and culture in the region. We play indie, soul, funk, world beats, and more, plus local stories and live sessions. Tune in live at 94.7 FM, on demand at borderradioaz.org, or on the KOFA app and discover your next favorite song.
What's up, Yuma? Welcome back to What's Up Yuma Radio. We are here joined by
Priscila Ruedas. She's a public health professional and candidate for Yuma City Council. So we're talking about how you work in public health, work in like farm worker health. What would you like the community to know about, what the kind of work, and the community we have here in terms of like those who serve in farm worker health?
Well, I really hope that we just have a lot more respect for farm workers. Everything that we do currently, every food that we eat has come through the hands of a farm worker. So just really understanding a lot of like the health disparities that they face and a lot of the issues that they face so that they can serve us, so that they can come and work for us. A lot of them, most of the people that are working in our community are H-2A farm workers. So these are like contracted workers that are going to be coming in from Mexico that come in through their contract, do a lot of labor, and then they go back home. So there's just a lot of health consequences that come from doing the ag labor, whether it's like musculoskeletal to just like exposure of pesticides. Right now, really one big issue is the heat. So we're seeing a lot of just really like the growers are really hoping and trying to be better in terms of having precautions for folks that are working out and about. But as the temperature continues to get hotter, how can we really just make sure that our, like my dad, like your dad, come home every day?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So you're working in public health. You're doing great work, and thank you for the work that you do. What was it about, running for city council? Tell us about how you came to that decision.
Yeah, so I have always been like somebody that's just really involved, like from junior high, being in high school, being in the Stuco and just doing this. I've always been somebody that I have ADHD, so I need to be busy all the time. And so just choosing, when I moved back to Yuma, I just moved away to do my undergrad, and then I went a year for my master's. And then when I came back, I was just really looking for communities and ways in which I could really be of service. And with that, I started doing some of just like the local programs. So like the county one, like Neighborhood Leadership Academy, and then the City of Yuma's Resident Leadership Academy. I think I got those backwards, but I highly recommend.
So you did
City
both of them, huh?
I did both of them.
Yeah, because when we first are about to go on air, you gave Cecilia a big hug right over here, and that's where you met her as one of those programs, the one that Tad does for the city, right?
Yes, amazing program. Highly recommend. I think applications open in December and they start in January. I think we should all do it. It's a great insight into
why do you think that we should all do it? Tell us a little bit about what you learned from Tad.
Yeah, I think a lot of us are really easy. All of us are really easy to make assumptions and judgment. Yeah. And so just really taking a pause and understanding all the back end things and how things really work, then feeling more comfortable in making those judgments. And so I think these opportunities just really allow you to see how things truly work.
Yeah, which is good. And I'm glad that you said that you took those programs, because I've been around this for a long time. I've been doing radio. I've interviewed a bunch of politicians, some people, hopeful politicians, people that have made it and actually been elected. And the thing is, you could go and you can promise a bunch of stuff, or you could go and you could talk bad about anybody that's in office and they should do this, they should do that. But once you get into the other side and you are elected, then you find out, we're kind of governed by some of these policies on a legislative level, and I can't do these things, right? Exactly. And then if you're one of those people that kind of goes off on the mouth, I'm going to do all this and that, now you're stuck because the people, hey, what happened? What is it? Easy way to find out what you can and can't do is through these programs, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So what's something maybe you learned in the program that kind of shocked you a little bit, or maybe gave you great insight?
In the program, just really learning about some of the budget lines and how they work, just those aspects of where we think things are simpler than they really are. But in that same time, in my perspective as a public health professional, just thinking how even those budget lines could be just altered for the benefit of the community and not totally centered on driving business, but really centered a little bit more on just the civilians.
Yeah, and so what you're talking about there is to be still working within the parameters, because a budget is flexible depending on what program that it goes into, right? And that's something that you could do because you learned in this program that, okay, maybe I can have sway over this. So you do that, you're taking these classes, and then you say, oh, this looks like fun. I want to get beat up on the internet, or what?
I love.
Yeah. So tell me about it. What happened? And you said nobody asked you, right?
No,
you said you did it yourself?
I'm just kind of doing it.
Okay.
Yeah. So I do a lot of like local, just grassroots organizing in the community, and my degree in public health has allowed me to be able to just know kind of a broad array of things, doing these programs and just looking for something to be involved in and just being ultimately a giver. I think this is just a really great space for me to put my education, what I learned, the fact that I'm a local, that I've been here, that this has affected me my entire life, and to take that next step of being able to make an impact for my community. How can we make this better? And so one of the things that I'm really hoping to do is to be just a representative of the people, which is something that I don't necessarily think is totally there in our current administration, our current city council. I see that we have like an overrepresentation of potentially like business owners. And so I work at the U of A, like I teach at the community, I teach here at UWC a little bit. I don't have anything other than just hopes of being able to be an accessible person. Again, I'm an immigrant. I am a first generation to be able to have an education. And so ultimately, all I want to do is just be accessible. My background, my parents were farm workers. So just really thinking about how that is the majority of the people that live in Yuma have this background, but they can't necessarily like understand or break into this world. So that's really like my goal here is just to be an accessible point of contact and make that change.
And on that topic, so you kind of mentioned business, right? Like it's maybe top heavy on that side of the business, whatever, and you want to be a voice over here. That's one of the things I kind of like about city council is because, you could have different voices on there. And at the end of the day, right, business is what drives the economy. So like you have to be business friendly. So it sounds like maybe when you get in, you'll learn a little bit more about that side, but it's all about finding a good balance, right?
Yes, exactly. I think obviously we need to be able to grow the economy. That is one thing. But I do think that in order to grow the economy and in order to really grow as Yuma, we need to be a place where people are happy to stay here. And that means that we have to have better community services, better different things. It's really thinking about how can we attract people to come to Yuma and also stay. And that also talks about our youth a lot. Like most of our youth are talking about how as soon as I turn 18, I'm out of here and I'm not coming back. I was one of those people as well where I'm like, oh, you know what? I don't know if I want to stay in Yuma. But this is my home. This is where my family lives. And this is a place that I love. And so with that, I want Yuma to have those same opportunities without having to leave.
So I want to ask you, you and I first connected on the KWC news side. We met at, there was a public forum to learn, for the public to know more about data centers. And again, it was at this meeting where there were elected officials, community residents. It was open to the public like last minute. It initially wasn't.
Yeah.
But you and I talked about, at that point, and still, the officials say, the mayor says, others say there's nothing coming before the council. I understand there's been some community meetings since. What would you like to share about, just the vibe or like what people are saying in those meetings?
Yeah, so in those meetings and just in terms of data centers, what we are really hoping to accomplish and the conversation has been is that there is decisions that affect everybody that are taking place. So particularly with data centers, there's a huge environmental health concerns, talking about all the environment, soil, water, the air, how that has pollutants, how that increases cancers, asthmas, the noise that it increases, just mental health disorders. And so the issue here and what we were hoping to do is to be more on the table when decisions that affect everybody like that come in. This isn't just another coffee shop that's coming to town that the mayor can write off, and not just everybody, city council can just write off and approve. This is something that's going to have long-term consequential impacts, and particularly for a place like Yuma, where we are an ag town, where we have, $5.2 billion in direct cash receipts in 2025 from agriculture. How are we going to be able to work through just having like something that will have such a high impact on the environment? So the asks that are happening from the data centers are just, we would like to be aware of these decisions that are taking place, and we want our voice to be heard. That's what it is. And when it comes to leadership thus far, that hasn't happened. This conversation where we met that you're discussing was the reason that they opened it up to the public was because there was a demonstration and people showed up, and literally before they opened, they were like, okay, come in. That is not open to the public. That is not transparency. That is not something that that's not how we should be handling business when it affects every single one of us.
Yeah. So are there any other issues when you talk to voters? Data centers, obviously a hot topic. Are there any other issues that, resonate with you or that you feel like I want to do something about that if elected?
I'm like a big advocate for heat infrastructure, so heat mitigation. I think in our community, we don't necessarily see those changes. And so whether it's putting up shade structures in our parks for that the kids can play and not get second-degree burns, or putting up those same shade infrastructures during our public transportation. I'm a big believer in heat mitigation, opening up more cooling centers, just doing that. Also within our community, just from a lot of the conversations from when I was canvassing, I heard a lot about traffic. So people in town are very upset about some of the traffic. And so just really thinking through what would make sense in terms of like traffic. On a personal note, I really do think that we need to expand our public transport. Just because I believe that that'll really like mitigate a lot of the issues. But nonetheless, if and when I am elected, I am not somebody that will be making these decisions for me. I want to be having conversations with the community and that we make them together.
Yeah, and so like I'm all for put on shades all over Yuma, everything.
Yeah, the entire city.
Block that sun out of here. It's hot. And so, is that something that was personal to you or something that you heard from the community?
I heard from the community, but it's also something that was personal to me. So Dario Mendoza, he was a farm worker who passed in 2024. He died while he was harvesting melon literally at 10 a.m. from a heat stroke.
Heat stroke, yeah.
And so that has been, and as somebody who does a lot of work with farm workers and is directly tied to farm workers, that has just been something that has stuck to me just directly of how is it that with so much technology, with so much money in the United States, that we can allow people, because we are allowing them to an extent to be dying, because that doesn't have to be the way that we live this life. I just really hope to be able to just slowly work towards like a better Yuma, a better place where we're all happy and we're all safe and we all have access to the opportunities that we want.
So when you're in, then you're just going to look in that budget and see if there's ways that you could do this. And it takes always people pressing forward issues, right? That's what it takes, and gets awareness. And then if the community gets your back, then you get some traction. And then it's like, okay, what can we do? And the thing about technology is like technology will follow wherever that happens, right? And they can start, well, we can build this, or we could put this over here. And then if they find out like it could be lucrative, then their business will partner and say, okay, let's create these shades around Yuma or whatever, right? That's how those things start. But yeah, so tell everybody where they can find you on Instagram or Facebook and find out a little bit more about your campaign.
Yeah, so I have a fun Instagram page. It's called Priscila for Yuma, where I share some updates. I also have a website. It's also priscilaforyuma.com. And then I do have a Facebook, but I'm not going to lie, I'm really horrible at it. And I haven't figured out how to like merge things so that they happen. But there's also like a Priscila for Yuma. So my name is Priscila Ruedas with 1 L. I really hope that we can get you all write my name in as one of your choices for City Council this July.
Cool. And then you're going to start Okie Town for Priscilla next?
Absolutely.
Right there.
Oh, no, that's been done.
Oh, cool. Get all the OGs over there, Okie Town. So, all right. Thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate it. And good luck with everything you do.
Thank you so much.
All right. And we're going to take a break. Who are we coming back with, Victor?
We're coming back with Justin Salgado and Jeanette Romo. They're our friends. They had the Blind Luck event. They're having another event this Friday.
Oh, very cool. We'll be back with them. You're listening to What's Up Yuma Radio right here on 94.7 KOFA Border Radio.
Bopping to the new beats heard around the world, or relaxing to the tunes of Memory Lane. We are your non-commercial source of music. Run by volunteer hosts, this is KOFA Border Radio, 94.7 FM, 1320 AM, on the KOFA app, or at borderradioaz.org.
What's Up Yuma Radio is sponsored by Citrine Law LLC, a locally owned bilingual law firm rooted in the Yuma community. Citrine Law provides criminal defense, DUI defense, and personal injury representation in English and Spanish throughout Yuma County. Information is at citrinelaw.com.
I use KEWC almost on a daily basis in my car. It's the background for chores around my house. And I go to the website and look for stories that are of interest, and I listen to podcasts. I look to the news on NPR because I'm looking for something beyond the headline or a soundbite or a gotcha moment. I really want news that shows me sort of the multiple dimensions of a story, that seeks information from multiple sources and doesn't tell me how to think. It just presents the issues. And I really appreciate that. Being a sustaining member of a service like KAWC takes the mystery out of it for me. So I know that I am supporting every month. I also know that I don't have to remember to sit down and write a check at the end of the year or a budget for a check at the end of the year, right? It's kind of coming out of my account every month, and that makes me feel a little bit like I'm part of the team. I'm Lori Stoft from Arizona Western College, and I'm a proud supporter of KAWC Yuma.
Hotter temperatures this week will result in widespread moderate heat risk and localized major heat risk today in Yuma, Parker, and Quartzsite. As afternoon highs near 110 degrees. Winds are out of the south at 5 to 10 miles per hour, but could gust up to 20 miles per hour by afternoon. Tonight, partly cloudy skies with a low near 80 degrees.
KOFA Border Radio doesn't sound like any other radio station in Yuma. We are a non-commercial source for music from around the world, across the decades and local artists. Our hosts are volunteers. If you would like to get involved, send an email to music@borderradioaz.org.
The city of Yuma will host its annual Independence Day Spectacular on July 4th from 6 to 10 p.m. at Desert Sun Stadium. Stadium seating is limited, so bring your blankets or lawn chairs and enjoy the fireworks show. Only clear purses or bags, including diaper bags, will be permitted. No coolers. Details at yumaaz.gov/events.
I'm Mike Suba, and I'm a big supporter of KAWC. You're getting a great source of information about our community, about the people that are working and living here, and you start going, you know what, this is really a valued service. And that's the great thing, is you've got a partnership here. And I'm a big believer in partnerships because the one thing I realized early on in life, I can maybe do a lot of stuff on a very limited basis, but when I start partnering up, it's amazing what we can do when we pool our resources. And so I hope that when people are listening to the station, enjoying the news broadcasts and the entertainment shows that are being presented, that they realize that you're not only the end user and enjoying what's being broadcast to you, but it can be a partnership too, where you can participate like I've discovered I can do and help get this service, enhance it, and provide even better programming. I'm Mike Suba, and I support KAWC.
Run by music lovers like yourselves, KOFA Border Radio has what you need. A non-commercial home filled with music heard from all over the world. Tune in at 94.7 FM, 1320 AM on the KOFA app or at borderradioaz.org.
What's up, Yuma? Welcome back to What's Up, Yuma Radio. We are here now joined by Justin and Jeanette from Blind Luck. Thank you guys for being with us.
No, thank you guys for having us again.
Yes. So Blind Luck, let's get into what exactly is Blind Luck for the people that maybe missed the last episode. Maybe they were going in labor or had something tragic happen and couldn't make the show. But tell us a little bit about Blind Luck.
I think with Blind Luck, it's just something different that we're bringing into. I mean, if I would explain Blind Luck in general, I would say I'm just trying to do like just EDM, something underground, something with a different feeling, when you go to these events, just like I kind of try to build this environment where in my head where the lights are more dimmer. I don't know. It's kind of something that like.
So it's in your head and you're trying to get it out here into manifestation part of the world and make it happen. But it's something that you've been doing for some time because you also have a production company, right? Or a back end company. Tell everybody about that real quick.
With our production company, I don't know. We've been doing it for a minute.
Tell everyone, what is it?
Well, we do.
Because you sent me a cool picture. And you were setting up by a beach, like there's the ocean right there, or on a beach or something.
Yeah. I mean, we're doing sound, we're doing lighting, we're doing a bunch of different stuff. Lasers, CO2, special effects, confetti. This past weekend, I did an event on the beach. I think it was in, I don't even know.
Was it Saloma or something?
I think it might have been Saloma. Or I was maybe. Yeah, I don't even know where I'm at sometimes. I'm always working.
Yeah, so you're always working.
But no, yeah, it was really nice. We did an LED wall. We did a couple lasers. It was awesome. I mean, then fast forward to Saturday, I did like another underground event. Same thing that we're doing here, but in San Diego. But in San Diego, there's tons of those all the time. You know, there's like 10 of them going on every weekend. You know.
So how did you get into the production side of things and lasers? Were you like a young kid, always into lasers and stuff? And then you're like, oh, cool, I can make money off of this.
I think I didn't get into that side of things maybe far later because I think first I started DJing. You know, I got my lights DJing and stuff like that. But then
you got just like regular lights or something.
Yeah, the auto running lights.
Yeah,
you know. Later on, I got into what like DMX is and like learning how to control those lights and stuff. But I didn't get into lasers maybe until I was like 23. When I got out of high school, I started touring with an artist straight out of high school.
Straight out of high school?
Yeah, so I actually toured throughout the whole country. Her name was Maricela. She's like a, you know, I can't even explain the music, but like...
Get it close. Can you do it, Jeanette?
I can probably sing it. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
Yeah, do it.
She's a Mexican artist. She's really popular.
Okay, Mexican, Spanish, but...
Yeah, Spanish. It's kind of the music that you put maybe when you're cleaning on a Sunday morning, you know? But how do you call it? Yeah.
How did you get that opportunity before I don't want to jump too far over that. Like,
interestingly, my first show was here at Cachan Casino.
Oh, really?
And I just saw a post.
That was your first show? You came over here at the casino. And, okay, so how did that even happen?
I saw a post on Facebook, and they were like, hey, last minute, we need someone that can run video content for her. And is anyone local? And I ended up seeing that. I was like, oh, maybe I can do it. You know, I watched a couple YouTube videos before the show, downloaded the program, and then went straight into it head on, and everything went fine.
Wow. Yeah. I love that because like in my world, I do marketing, production, stuff like that for videos and anything. So when a client would ask me something, hey, can you do this? Yes, I can do it. And then that's exactly what I would do. I'd go to YouTube or YouTube University and then figure it out. Like I'm kind of spilling the beans on myself out there. Like clients, don't worry, I got you. I got your back. But I would go do that. I would figure it out because that's an opportunity, right? And then that's something else that I can add to my wheelhouse after that. Now you're saying you saw something on Facebook. You're over there in an Imperial Valley. That's where you guys are from, right? Yeah. And you said I could go do that. And then you said yes. And they said, okay, come by.
Yep. And I went there. I did everything like I needed to do. And then right after, after the show, they're like, okay, cool. We're going to these 3 other shows right after this. You want to come with us? And I just called my dad and my mom. And I'm like, all right, well, I'm going to go to Seattle pretty much.
It's like, Mom, I'm off to Seattle now.
Yeah. And then after that, they were like, oh, we like him a lot. He's a good person. And he's doing a good job. And everything's cool with him. And then I actually did all the theaters through the country. I even did like Madison Square Garden Theater in New York. Yeah. And that's like...
You're so like nonchalant about it, like casual, you know? Yeah, I did that, you know? But obviously it was a very exciting time in your life, right? You're right out of school, you're traveling, you got in this position because you saw an opportunity, you did your due diligence to learn the program, you downloaded the program, and now it's opening all these doors.
Yeah. I think when I look back at it, time flew by really, really fast. But I'm honestly so grateful for the opportunity because all those skills that I have now came from all that time. And sometimes I'm like, I don't know, like, yeah, it was a great time. It was a great period.
So tell me a little bit, like, how long was that period?
I would say I did it for about 3.5 years.
3.5 years?
Yeah, like 3 years. Yeah.
And did you go with them at all, Jeanette? Or
no? Supporting him on the sidelines.
Yeah, you're cheering from back home, huh?
Yeah.
But so 3.5 years you're touring.
Yeah.
And tell me a little bit about like some of the things you learned during that time, because you said those skills are helping you now. So what is something like important that you learned? It could be, you know, just something as like I learned to be proficient. I learned to be on time, or I learned technical details.
Yeah, definitely. I think everything from seeing how every state or every city that I went into, it was a different production company. So I was seeing how different production companies operated. It was like I was getting an IRL class of just like everything that I needed to know. And I like developed so much skills, and I was getting educated. You know, I was seeing how LED walls were being built, how lights were getting hung. You know, I was seeing how just even from the power stuff, you know, from, you know, even the theaters that we would go in, some of those theaters were like a little bit like, they were old theaters, so you would see how they would distribute the weight amongst ropes, you know, and like it was crazy. It was very fascinating for me, you know.
Crazy. And then did you have to kind of be, I guess, on the fly because the different, like you said, the theaters or something? You kind of had to learn to be on your toes a little bit, or?
I wouldn't say I wasn't hands-on. Honestly, hands-on? Okay. I was the guy that like I honestly wish that I would have gone to all those production companies because it wasn't my job to get hands-on with the equipment. They called me like a white glove. Okay. Whereas I was a tech where I would go, be like, this is what I need. I would send emails out, advance what I needed, and then I would go sit down on that table at front of house and then just wait for everything to get built. You know? But you were witnessing and you were watching and you're kind of taking mental notes. It wasn't until later on, maybe a year and a half in, where I was like, you know what, I'm going to learn all this stuff, and then started talking to the companies, started getting hands-on, started asking them, hey, can you show me how you do this, you know? But yeah, they're really good with me, and I learned a lot. Okay, and then after the 3.5 years, then you went back to the Imperial Valley, Calexico, right? Yeah, Calexico. Yeah, you went back to Calexico, and you said, I could do this? Like, what was it? I met, so with the company that I work with now, I met the owner of this company through Instagram, and I'm in a different part of the industry. Like, I loved what I did, but I wanted to enter the EDM realm. And I found someone on Instagram in San Diego that was doing only EDM events, and I DM'd him, and I was like, hey, how can I get into this? And then literally he gave me an opportunity to start doing lasers straight off the bat, taught me how to do lasers, showed me how to set them up, how to zone them. And I was like, you know what? After he kept giving me gig after gig, and it's something in the EDM world that I loved more, right after he was just like, I just quit my job with the other artists, and I was like, you know what? Thank you for the opportunity. You guys did so much amazing things for me, and then I just dived into the EDM world. Okay, and then was that something that, because you were a DJ before, so that was always a thread, common is EDM music? Yeah, 100%. All right, so we're going to take a quick break, and I want to talk a little bit about EDM after the break, because I did end up going to the last production you guys put on, and so I want to talk a little bit about that. Yeah, awesome. All right, we're going to do that right after this. You're listening to What's Up Yuma Radio right here on 94.7 KOFA Border Radio.
Tuned in to Border Radio KOFA. We are your local public radio station that celebrates the power of music to bring people together. You can see our playlists, listen to our live stream, and listen to past programs on demand on the KOFA app. Find it at your favorite app store.
Today's day sponsor is the AWC Advancement Team, wishing Dave Reek a happy retirement. Dave, your leadership helped make KAWC a classroom without walls, extending Arizona Western College's mission throughout Yuma and La Paz counties. Thank you for your service and leadership, and enjoy the beach.
This is folk singer Michael Jonathan. Join us on Woodsong's Front Porch. This week, in the shadow of Gene Ritchie, the great Appalachian songwriter, is Carla Gover. And from the hay farms to record deals, Charlie Overman. Plus an amazing Woodsongs kid. All of this and more on this week's broadcast of the Woodsongs Old Time Radio Hour.
This evening at 7 p.m. on KOFA Border Radio 94.7 FM. Extreme heat warnings have been issued for multiple locations across our listening area as afternoon highs in Yuma, Parker, and Quartzsite range between 107 and 114 degrees. Winds are out of the south at 5 to 10 miles per hour with possible gusting. Tonight, partly cloudy with a low near 80 degrees.
One of our donors, Rebecca, shared, as a flight attendant, I love listening to Border Radio when I'm home in Yuma. But the best part is I can take it with me on the app when I'm away. Border Radio lets me carry a piece of home wherever I go. Join listeners like Rebecca by visiting donate.borderradioaz.org and contribute today.
This is Border Radio, KOFA, your passport to your global destination for music. We are your local public broadcasting station that can be heard through your radio at 94.7 FM, 1320 AM, on the KOFA app, and at borderradioaz.org.
What's up, Yuma? Welcome back to What's Up, Yuma Radio. We are here joined by Justin and Jeanette, and Victor's back with us.
I'm back. Yeah, I had to. We had some breaking news, and we'll of course let people know about it. Nothing major, no like fires or anything, but you know.
But you came back with a hat, though.
Oh yeah, no. We were talking. New York Knicks and NBA draft is tonight.
Yep.
And New York Knicks won, so.
Yeah, so
shout out to that.
Yeah, shout out to that. So anyway, I wanted to wait for you to come back so we could talk. So the last event, me and Victor, we got to go. Tell us a little bit about how that went. And I know, Jeanette, you were the first one to greet me when I walked in. You were at the door. So tell me a little bit about how that went at Todos Chicale.
Yeah, I was waiting for you guys to come in. So it was honestly, I think, our biggest event up to date. We had a really great turnout. Like, we've loved the way Yuma has accepted us really into their community. And like, I'm pretty sure you guys felt the energy when as soon as you guys got there. Like,
absolutely,
everyone's hyped, and like as you hear Justin's like production history, I'm pretty sure you guys saw right the level that we bring into Yuma and the reason why people should go. If you guys want to talk about what you guys saw.
Yeah, that event was fun. Like, I was telling Johnny, like, and we've talked about it on air and off air. Like, Yuma needs more events like that because, and thank you both for bringing that and your team and the DJs and all the like setup crew and all that, because that was a fun event. People were having fun. No fights. I didn't see anyone like with a, that wasn't smiling or like, vibing,
Yeah, everybody was getting along. It was a great, and I could see how much the lights add to the atmosphere. So I could see why the EDM world and the lasers and that production are kind of married with each other, right, Justin?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, tell me a little bit about that. Like, how do you kind of dial that in to make it part of it? Do the lights move with the music, or how does that work?
I mean, for these type of events, we do what it's called busking, which is just kind of like doing everything live. But it also...
you do it live, so somebody's over there kind of...
Yeah, they're just pushing buttons pretty much.
Like, they're kind of grooving a little bit, and like, this will really hit right here. Watch this. And then everybody like...
It's pretty funny because you'll see like... or you had my partner do it that time, but like you even see him vibing where like people will come up and think he's even DJing, like, hey, can I request a song? And I'll be like, I'm just running the lights, But he's vibing, he's dancing, he's grooving. But yeah, we're we try to do our best with it, And it's definitely the same thing we're trying to do, as the DJ is playing music. We try to just, like copy that on with the lights, the lasers, try to hit the CO2 right at the right time,
Yeah, because you can kind of tell at the right time, right? Because like the EDM has that like certain build up to it, right? Yeah. And then it's like
the drop.
And then the drop, and it's like, okay, now it's time to hit. Now, so Jeanette, tell me your role in all of this.
That is
besides door greeter,
anything and everything else, right?
I think all of us wear a lot of hats, definitely. We do have like a good team of friends, and honestly, wherever any one of us can fit. So yeah, I was at the door. You guys saw me at the door, but then also, I was greeting everybody like outside of the door, making sure everything was okay. And I check in with Justin. Justin was also doing his rounds. Like, we're all doing so much at the same time. Like, it's kind of crazy, but it's fun. Like, I think you guys can see we were all smiling the whole time. It wasn't super stressful. Like, sometimes it can be, but overall, it is super fun. Like, we all wear a bunch of hats.
So what's your favorite part about it?
I think getting to meet all the people and getting to hear their stories. Like, people come up to us and I don't know, they just feel the good energy and they start opening up. They're like, oh my gosh, like my first rave experience was this. Like, because we do get of all ages, So there are people that are like, oh my God, I haven't been raving in so long. And they told me like, oh, back in the 90s, like I've done this, and it's so cool to bring them back the nostalgic feeling. Or also people have told us, this is my first time raving. And it's cool that we're giving them their first experience, like just getting to talk to everybody has been amazing.
The outfits were good too. Like we talked. I don't know if we talked so much last time about the outfits, but people had their rave outfits, and there were some, young women that had their outfits. There was Art the Clown from Terrifier.
Yeah.
Is that one of your friends? You guys know who that is? Or
That's a secret.
That's a secret? Oh, okay.
Just say Art or the clown.
No, that's interesting. Now it's a secret. Now I need to find out. Victor got to do some investigating now, but people, they dress up and they go out to have a good time, right? That's the whole thing. Now, what did you hear after that event from the community?
I think everybody's excited. I think everyone's trying to see what we have planned next. And behind the scenes, I'm trying to figure out what we're going to do. There's so many paths that I can take, but I think the Yuma has been just so awesome. And they've just been telling us thank you so much. As Jeanette has said, everyone at the door is thank you so much for bringing this. We've had to travel to San Diego or farther out to Phoenix to even get a little dash of this, I don't know. They're just so happy. So I think honestly, I think we're gonna keep going and we're gonna see what's next, honestly. And I'm so busy behind the scenes as well. So
I get it, man. I get it. So how I started, same thing. I told you a little bit about it. I put on a bunch of events. The one thing I know about it is once you start to get a critical mass or you get enough people, right? Then you can start bringing down bigger artists, right? And then it becomes because that's what we did. And then it became very advantageous for these bigger artists to come down because then now they're exposed to a whole different crowd and people that kind of, in Yuma, you don't get a lot. And so they're hungry for it. And so if that named artist kind of comes down, they're put on a huge pedestal, right? It's whoa, you actually came to Yuma. Any thoughts of that to trying to get somebody and kind of make that attractive for somebody?
100%. And I think the cool thing from Moments Productions as well is that I've met so many of my clients are pretty good DJ artists and they're on tour and I built personal relationships with them. So I have a handful of a catalog of artists that I can pick from that they even message me and they're like, hey, Yuma, Arizona looks poppin'. What's going on over there? What is that area, And I'm just trying to see what the right route and the right path I need to take for this. But I'm definitely going to say the next shows are going to be with artists that I'm going to pull off of tour. And this is going to be the next tour destination for a lot of these guys who, are traveling from Phoenix, to San Diego to Phoenix,
That's exactly what I did. And it came to the point where one of my biggest shows is one of Eminem's artists, this guy Joel Ortiz. And it was right when Eminem signed him and I couldn't use that because he was still on his old label and the negotiations where the ink was dry, but I just couldn't, it was up to them to make that press release, But it was well, we need to go there because everybody's going there. So you build off of that momentum and then it definitely could happen.
Yeah.
And so I just got to ask, so EDM music is is it broad, the music? Because when I went there, it was heavy.
Yeah.
There was a heaviness to it. It's almost a little bit the best I could understand is Skrillex, whatever that is. Dubstep or something.
Yeah, I feel for this past one, I think we just went super hard. But also the Yuma crowd, they really, really love that. They love that. That's we've been test trialing the genres and interestingly, there's just a big dubstep rhythm community here. That's the genre of the music we were playing majority of that night.
Okay.
We were trying to dive into multiple genres of EDM, but yeah, it was definitely. It's funny hearing how you reciprocate it,
So I'm not I guess when I was a DJ, I'd play Skrillex, so I that. Yeah. So I get it. But yeah, this whole thing was it seemed like that was the theme of the night, or that was the DJs that were chosen or something. Yeah. And now, I do you like to branch out? Is there other forms of EDM that you like?
100%. I think there's just. I think we're gonna start treating everything differently. I think with the lineups, I'm trying to cater for different genres, But we're going to get better at that for sure.
Yeah, because Martine, that works for me, he was like, oh, that's a little heavy for me. But he likes to go to all the festivals.
Yeah.
But he was showing me, I kind of like this version of EDM a little bit better. EDM just stands for electronic, right?
Yeah. There's so many subgenres on subgenres and subgenres.
And this Friday is going to be an example of
that's
another
what it was good. That's what we're getting to next. So what can people expect this Friday?
Just a good mix. I feel like it'll be very different shift from last event, but I feel like we're opening up the doors. I feel like there is a big Latino community around here, obviously, right?
Yeah.
And people love their reggaeton and they love to party, so why not mix both, right?
Mhm.
So I feel like that's going to be a good, wholesome blend that we're going to have this weekend.
So and right after I went to your show, I ended up hanging out with the EDM artist that was signed to the same level as like Calvin Harris and stuff, but his was more poppy. It was like on a pop side, but he was on the label out of Sweden. I forget which one it was. But it was like, this is totally different. So it just showed like how vast it could be.
Yeah.
So tell everybody when and where.
Oh.
Yeah, whoever.
Our event is actually called Sin Limitas this time because it is on the reggaeton side. It'll be this Friday, the 26th, and it's going to be from 8 p.m. to 2 a.m. at Tarros Chicali.
And then if people wanted to find out any more information, Instagram
at BLINDLUCK, Instagram at Sin Limitas. Yeah.
Very cool. And so one thing I got to mention, I really like that you had like a back area where there's another DJ back there kind of playing, and there was a couch right there. I could go chill out a little
more
bit.
chill, yeah.
Yeah,
we're going to have that event.
You're going to have that again?
Yeah, one more time, yeah.
Oh, very
have to
cool.
check it out, Johnny.
Yeah, so I'm getting a tattoo on Friday, so I'll go get a tattoo and then I'll go do that.
Another tattoo?
Another one. Yeah, I'm doing it. But thank you guys for being with us. I really appreciate it.
Appreciate you guys.
All right. And with that, What's Up Yuma Radio is a production of KAWC, Colorado River Public Media. We broadcast from the studios in the Matador Activity Center at Arizona Western College in Yuma. Want to thank our engineer, Talon Gonzalez, along with Anthony Arnales, Juan Garcia, Dave Rica, and Cecilia.
You can find out more about KOFA at borderradioaz.org and on the KOFA app. Stay tuned for KOFA's Midday Music.
And tomorrow's program, we have, I think you pronounce her name, Karime
Hire with Nichim Cafe, and we have Somerton Mayor Jerry Anaya.
All right.
And you can listen to the podcast version of our program and check out past episodes anytime at kawc.org/podcast/What's Up Yuma Radio.
And if you would like to be a guest, make sure you visit whatsupyuma.biz. Once again, that's whatsupyuma.biz. Click the radio link. You can also watch old episodes on that as well. But if you want to be on there, click the radio link and click book me. It's that easy. I got another artist that just found us, and he's coming. He's going to be performing at the Q. So he's coming in, and he's going to tell the story. So you can tell your story right here. See you guys tomorrow.
What's Up Yuma is sponsored by Citrine Law, LLC, a Yuma law firm practicing criminal defense, DUI defense, and personal injury law. Information is at citrinelaw.com.
Thanks for listening to KOFA Yuma, whether it is on the radio at 94.7